Welcome to Next to Shield Season 2 episode review video. Before I start talking about that, though, pretty important if you haven't watched through Season 2 episode 6 of The Shield, that it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And full disclosure, I've already seen The Shield all the way through one time, although it's been a while. I was due for a rewatch. I either watched it in 2011 or 2014. I don't quite remember what it was, but either way, I was due for a rewatch, and I wanted to let the show resonate a bit. So join me on the journey. Let's discuss this awesome, amazing show in the comments section. With that said, this will be The Shield Season 2, Episode 6. The title of this episode is called Homewrecker, and this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. We start with Vic, who plays the recording of his call with Armadillo to Aceveda, and then Vic insists that Armadillo's death threat is meaningless, and the recording is grounds for him to be charged. And then when he tries to leave, Aceveda tells Vic that he has a minority candidate in mind for the strike team and warns him to be careful around Armadillo. And then the strike team discusses adding a new member. Vic apologizes for putting them in Armadillo's crosshairs, but they insist that they are a team. Although Ronnie's a little bit nervous about things, Shane wonders if a new member could be a problem should they not understand how we do things. But Vic insists that he will not bring anyone on who doesn't get it. And then while on patrol, Danny promises Julian that she will not say anything about his sexuality to Vanessa, but warns him that it will be worse if she finds out from someone other than him. And then they get a report on a 911 call that they immediately hung up. And then Vic asks Gordy Lyman to put men on his family constantly due to the threat of Armadillo could pose on them, noting that they need to stay out of the sight. And then Danny and Julian arrive at the address of the call to find it broken into. They enter and find a woman stabbed to death inside. Venturing further, they find a security camera on the wall destroyed and another dead woman. Danny, realizing from a pamphlet on the ground that the place is a shelter for domestically abused women, and then they find 4 more dead women and hear noise coming from upstairs, kicking in the door to find a handful of crying young children. So at least they didn't kill the kids. Vic takes the last of his belongings out of his house and informs Corinne that he will be installing a new alarm system in the house. He gets a call about the killings. Dutch explains to those present that the address of the shelter is kept a secret from the women's abusers, and he and Vic agree that the most likely suspect is one said abusers. Dutch notes that the intentional cutting of the power and destroying the security cameras, making the murder seem premeditated. And then as officers take the kids out, Emma Prince, the shelter's director, having stepped out to pick up donations, arrives but is stopped at the door. She is unable to give up the victims' real names because the shelter gives them aliases, but claims that the shelter's record keeper, Mrs. Henry, has the names on her computer, to which she and the assistant know the password, both of them dead. Distressed, she asks if all 7 of them were killed, and Vic notes that they only found 6 bodies. Vic and Emma match the mugshot of a prostitute that claimed to be beaten by her pimp and recent arrival to a photo Emma has of her. Vic orders an officer to get a search started for her. Dutch and the computer tech, Bello, try to crack Henry's computer. Aceveda informs Danny that Yasira has filed another complaint claiming Danny made a threatening phone call against her, though Danny claims she just told her that she knew she was behind the recent harassment. Aceveda admonishes her from calling her from her house and creating a record of the incident and orders her to make a formal apology. Ronnie offers to look at the computer as Vic informs Dutch that the prostitute was identified as Daria. Vic shows Daria's photo to Connie and asking her to find the pimp texts. Connie asks for help securing a house if she helps catch the killer, which Vic seems, to agree with. Like, okay, we'll see. Ronnie successfully cracks open the computer. Danny apologizes to Yasira, and her new lawyer claims that she is filing a temporary restraining order against Danny. Connie points text out to Vic and Shane, who he insists to them that he has not seen Daria for a week. And then a car of Latino men drive by, and Vic and Shane reach for their guns, but it drives away without issue. Vic orders Tex to call him if he hears from Daria. And then Dutch relays to Vic and Claudette that a 7-year-old boy is missing from the shelter, according to the records, but points out that if someone was looking for children of the mother, they left 2-year-old daughter behind. Vic points out that a baby is harder to travel with, and Claudette wonders if maybe he just doesn't like women. Dutch presents them with a file on the father, Mike Holden, a firefighter with a record of soliciting prostitutes. Vic notes that if Tex is telling the truth, Daria lied about who beat her and wonders if she may still be with Holden. The barn is amused to see Aceveda in a police uniform and sarcastically applauds Aceveda, explaining to Vic that the new chief wants every captain to wear the uniform on the street at least once a month for image purposes. Julian and Aceveda take a report on a woman whose son's new bike was stolen from their yard. Emma comes to the barn with 2 new shelter residents, Vic having fooled with some paperwork to get them put in temporary witness housing. She thanks him, and he reminds her that she is doing a good thing. She responds with, "Someone did it for me once." Aceveda confirms that he got Julian's wedding invitation and asks if he should know anything. Aceveda advises him not to have secrets, and they notice Gerard, a kid riding a bike that matches the description of the stolen one. Without giving him a chance to explain himself, Aceveda takes the bike. Vic has Lem and Connie distribute flyers of Holden. Dutch and Claudette question Western Division officer, a close friend of Holden's. It was Lou. He's a friend of Holden's. They question him, and they present him with photos of bodies, and he recognizes Holden's wife, Julie. A horrified Lou insists he would never kill her despite beating her, and Claudette wonders if he gave Holden the address and sent Lou over to confirm Julie was there. Dutch and Claudette press him for Holden's location, but he remains silent. Tech informs Vic that Holden and Lou have become sort of a couple. Julian and Aceveda return to the bike to the owner, only for him to point out that his initials aren't under the seat. Dutch and Claudette return, having called the bank and learning why he withdrew $400 while on duty that day. So the officer, Lou, is up to no good, obviously. He gives them his wallet, and they find the money is missing, knowing that he gave it to Holden. Lou refuses to endanger his job. They discuss trying to make a deal with him outside, where Vic sides with Dutch on the side of giving Lou a deal. Vic and Dutch go in while Claudette watches on camera, and Vic tries to manipulate him, but loses his composure when he resists. Dutch stops him from getting physical, and he leaves. Julian and Aceveda return the bike to Gerard, who accuses Aceveda of profiling him. To protect him, Julian steps in and insists that it is Aceveda's first day on the job, and then that kind of satisfies Gerard. And then Danny mentions to Shane that Aceveda is putting a new member on the strike team and wonders if a woman could make the cut. He responds sarcastically, and she responds with equal vitriol. Vic interviews Robbie Villanueva, a Latino candidate for the strike team, noting his military background and fitting attitude. He also notices that Villanueva has family, making sure to point out that the team is currently greenlit. Aceveda later informs Vic that Villanueva has withdrawn his application and that there won't be many better candidates than him. Connie informs Vic that a prostitute told her that Holden would pick her up with someone so they could watch his son while he had sex with the one chick. He asks for the woman, Daria, to call him if Holden comes around again. And then as Claudette orders a search for every car stolen close to the shelter the night of the murders, Dutch agrees to try interrogating Lou her way. And then Shane and Lem mess with Aceveda over him making 0 arrests in 7 hours. And Vic calls Corinne about the intensity of the security system and asks if there is anything she needs to know. Vic gets a call from Chris. I'm sorry. And then Lyman informs Vic that there have been no problems with the family, and they hired security to guard the house at night. But Vic insists his current method is working. He also notes that no one is seeing Corinne. He gets a call from Connie, having picked up by Daria and now babysitting Holden's son. Holden walks in on her using the phone, hanging it up for her and insisting she join the adults. The strike team arrive on the scene as they see police outside, putting a gun to Connie's head. Vic orders the assembled police to back off, disarming himself and offering himself as a hostage. He locks the door and closes the blinds on Holden's orders. Familiar with police tactics, he orders Vic to let the officers know he is inside to prevent them from gassing the room. He refuses to let go of his son, and Vic tries to connect with him over losing his children, but Holden is unconvinced and shoots Connie in the chest. Holden is distracted by his upset son, so Vic tears the blinds down, allowing a sniper to shoot him. Shane shoots him again through the broken window before he can attack Vic, killing him. Vic goes over to Connie and confirms that Connie is in fact dead. Danny is approached by a pair of IAD detectives who ask to search her car based on an anonymous call that she is selling marijuana out of it. As she explains the situation with Yasira, the detectives find drugs in her car. Dutch and Claudette inform Daria that Holden is dead and that he killed Connie before he went out. As Claudette acknowledges that he will keep his job, she orders him to leave. I'm sorry, said Daria. She informed Lou that Holden is dead. And then as Claudette acknowledges that he will keep his job, she orders him to leave. Vic tests the security system, and Corinne notices he is acting different, which he ignores, having bought a new bike. Julian and Aceveda return it to its owner. And then Vic visits Emma's new location to drop off groceries. She wonders if she will someday understand why Holden did what he did, and Vic sighs, "I doubt it." She thanks him, and he leaves silently. So this is a really good episode of The Shield. That's what ends the episode. I'm going to give it an 8.9 out of 10, and my character of the episode, of course, is Vic Mackey. He's usually the character of the episode, so nothing new here, but really good episode, and the tragic death of Connie. So you've heard everything that I have to say, Shield fans. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of The Shield and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button, share this video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are regarding this episode of The Shield. What would you rate it, and who would you choose as a character of the episode? And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to my channel. Help me get over 15,000 subscribers. Join the team. Show your damn support if you be part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JWTV.